Hi, my name is Teresa Rollins Fanning. This week for our class, we continue to read from Technology and Education, authored by Kevin Brady. Our video discussion centered on the topic, should national and/or state level technology standards be required for today's teachers? The old classroom model of educators teaching in a traditional brick-and-mortar building to a limited group of students is quickly disappearing. Since the early 1980s, advances in technology have radically changed the nature of the classroom. More specifically, the new and constantly evolving digital classroom has dramatically altered the way students learn and teachers teach. In 2008, a book called Disrupting Class was authored by Clayton Christensen, Michael Horn, and Curtis Johnson. They speculated by the year of 2019, nearly half of all high school courses in the U.S. would be delivered online. As evidence of the technology evolution in the classroom, a survey recently conducted showed that 90% of the teachers responded to using a tool of technology, and increasing that use in the classroom is very important. In this week, our discussion, the central discussion and the debate, was between Kevin Oliver of the University of North Carolina and Raymond Rose of Rose and Smith Associates. They both argued and talked about should the standards be for national or state levels, and they call for adopting by teachers today an improvement in teacher instruction and student learning through the use of technology. Oliver noted during his point essay that there are several professional organizations that have currently proposed the mandate of technology standards for teachers. While these professional technology standards do not represent national and state and local and levels of technology standards for teachers, Oliver suggests that the movement for mandatory technology standards for the nation's teachers is growing and provides applications of technology in the classroom that can be used as guidelines. Oliver also went on to say that the best justification for the mandate for the use of these technologies, either at a state or national level, is that the process would facilitate greater collaboration among teachers with technology-oriented lessons plans to actively interact with their peers. Without national and state level technology standards, Oliver argued that today's teachers would not have much of an incentive to collaborate with other teachers in the development of the lesson plans that incorporate technology in the student learning processes. Oliver further went on to make another point. He said that he felt that there was equally compelling benefit associated with the national and state level technology standards for teachers, that implementation of these standards would greatly assist students and colleges of education across the country in teaching of pre-service teachers. He insists and would have schools encourage that the education that the teachers receive help improve existing courses in the curriculum and identify gaps or approaches that would increase the likelihood that teacher candidates would be able to be more effective to integrate technology in the support of the student learning. On the counterpoint this week, we had Mr. Rose, Raymond Rose. One of the things that he took exception to was Oliver's contention that national and state level standards should be required for today's teachers. Instead, Rose argues that the national and state experts that would comprise a technology standards community would be forced to make compromises to reach a consensus. The end result, Rose contends, would be that the creation of a national and state, local, and level technology standards for teachers that are too general to allow for interpretation. Therefore, the technology standards for the teachers would not be useful. Rose also points out that some of the existing professional technology standards for teachers as evidence of the fact that they are developed into regular standards and are too general. In his point essay, a major source of Rose's opposition to the importance of the mandate of national and state level technology standards for teachers is that today's influential policymakers, especially in the wake of No Child Left Behind legislation, would be a problem linking these together. And the technology standards maybe would be a high-stakes testing movement would also be part of it. Rose felt that his primary focus on his counterpoint was to argue the national technology standards should not be required for today's teachers. The current International Society for Technology and Education, the National Education Technology Standards for Teachers, are far better, he feels. And the 5 that he talked about were the major headlines. And one was facilitate and inspire student learning and creativity. Number 2, design and develop the digital age learning experiences and assessments. Number 3, model digital age work and learning. Number 4, promote and model digital citizenship and responsibility. And number 5, engage in professional growth and leadership. When I thought about what my viewpoint would be on this week, and as being in the classroom, I thought about how some of today's educators are using new educational technologies to improve student performance by enhancing the content and research through the use of the internet. Also, they're using it through Moodle and Noodle, and they're also using it through Blackboard. One of the things that I really took away from this chapter is that I believe that the two things that are dividing the two authors is that the essays talked about, how to improve efficiency in the teaching of technology and its impact on student learning. In the essay that Oliver had, he talked about mandatory national or state level technology standards for teachers would most certainly improve teacher instruction using technology standards. He also talked about, how we're using some of this as an assessment for data gathering and evaluating teacher instruction incorporating technology. Also, when Rose talked about his counter, I took it from his point of view that, teachers are required, to show what curriculum standards, should be and what the district is setting down to them. And I don't think that the national and state level policymakers should be making this decision. I really think this should come from the district. One of the other things is rather than advocating for national standards, I feel that, we should talk about what digital citizenship is and being responsible and learning how to use an internet and using the tools that are there. I think that, we have enough testing and enough assessments of students that we are not really focusing on helping them learn. We're wanting to see what they learn. But, is a standard going to change? How a child's going to learn this material? It may, but, let's think about how the child can learn and then go there and try to help this child. Not everybody is learning the same way as we've learned through Kevin Brady's book. I think it's time to stop focusing on the national standards and think about how we can develop some things and transform into the 21st century.